tights.
This jacket on, I'm ISU wear.
So she had an art major in her group.
No.
Because they were doing fun stuff. Well, one of them were too.
And they get to do art stuff, like projects and crap, don't they?
Yeah. Like, I'm not mad with our group, but like we didn't get a science person or anything. We got 2 math, 2 history, and English.
Yeah.
I'm the history.
We got no diversity, subject-wise, which I'm not mad about. But so far, it's all been interesting.
Are you able to hear, Kylie?
Yep.
Alright, can you please turn your video on? Please and thank you.
Wait, now I can't hear you. What did you say?
Is it possible to turn your video on?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Was I supposed to make her turn the video on?
Oh, see, that's true.
Because like, in my opinion,
I'll do it this way, you got the note sheet I sent, right?
I did. Yes.
Okay, so you go ahead and get that out, and I'll pass this out to you guys. Here's yours. And you want to go fast as
Sure.
and
that's like an honesty. Confused through that. My friend just actually said I'm at Burger King with 1 eyelash on. Can someone tell me what happened to me?
Okay, so today we'll be finishing up the Cold War, like in the speediest way possible. And then we'll be reviewing the things we kind of talked about this whole unit in the form of a Jeopardy game. And for Kylie, I'll try to orient the computer so you're able to see the Jeopardy. We'll try and make it work.
What?
Alright, so go ahead and start. So we start with Nixon, which is similar to where we ended. So as soon as Nixon took the presidency, kind of started to put in some new ideas, approaches to international relations. As an opposing viewpoint to kind of viewing the world as this hostile place, dangerous place, as most of the other previous presidents had done, he kind of proposed using diplomacy instead of military action, which I thought was weird when I was looking it up, because I kind of opposed the Nixon at the end of the Vietnam War. But we'll continue. He encouraged the United Nations to kind of recognize China's communist government, and that was kind of following a trip to China that he made in 1972, and then that's where he kind of began to set up diplomatic relations with Beijing. So here's a picture, that's really blurry, of President Nixon in China, Beijing specifically. So then he adopted a new policy called détente. This kind of translates to meaning relaxation. And so this policy would be kind of put into place specifically targeting the Soviet Union. And to kind of relax the tensions of the Cold War. And in 1972, Nixon actually met Premier Leonid Brezhnev, and we kind of talked about the premier was the kind of the title of the leader of the Soviet Union. The premier is the title that they gave, and when they met, they signed the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, or SALT I. The kind of the basis of this treaty was kind of to prohibit the manufacture of nuclear weapons by both sides. And this also took the beginning steps to kind of reducing the threat of the overall nuclear war that had loomed over the entire Cold War up until this point. Everybody got everything off that? Any questions so far? See, you're still right in the corner. I'll let you finish.
Okay.
Got it?
Good. I'm peachy.
So, Ronald Reagan. So under President Ronald Reagan, this following Nixon, the Cold War kind of began to stir that pot back up. He kind of took the same viewpoint as most of the other previous presidents, that the spread of communism was this giant threat to the freedom of all people of the whole world. And he put into place this thing called the Reagan Doctrine, is what it became known as. And so he was offering financial aid as well as military aid to non-communist governments and insurgencies to help them combat the communist threat. Specifically, I think a lot of this was oriented towards Central America. So then there's that. So like I said, it kind of armed the anti-communist movement so that they can counter Soviet expansion. I think some of this was also seen in the Middle East regions, which is, that's why you get the guy in the picture. So now we get to the beginning of the Soviet Union's collapse. So as Ronald Reagan was using the Reagan Doctrine to combat communism in Central America, like I said, the Soviet Union was finally, the cracks were beginning to show. So because of severe economic and political problems that the USSR had been suffering for years, Premier Mikhail Gorbachev kind of took office in 1985, elected to kind of try to fix the problems of the Soviet Union. He introduced 2 new policies that would completely change Russia's relationship with the world, and just because he kind of had more of an open view than previous premiers had, he could kind of see the world ahead of how, he was like ahead of the curve, he could see how the world was going to change, and he was kind of trying to prep Russia so that it wouldn't break with this change unsuccessfully. The first program was called Glasnost, which meant political openness, and the other was Perestroika, which meant economic reform, which was kind of the basis for the changes he made, completely reforming the Soviet Union, or attempting to. There is Gorbachev in all his glory. So now Berlin, which is probably a part of the Cold War you guys were already kind of somewhat familiar with. So during this time, the Soviet influence in Eastern Europe, it was kind of beginning to waver. And by 1989, almost every communist government in Eastern Europe had changed its government to a non-communist one because they were beginning to see the flaws in the communist approach. And in November of 1989, the Berlin Wall finally came down and was destroyed. So this wall, all these decades, had been a symbol of the Cold War, and it divided Berlin into 2 sides, which was West and East Berlin. So one side was controlled by the Soviet Union, and the other was more similar in style to countries to the West. So they had more freedoms. They were more economically prosperous, and the other side was, like I said, controlled by the Soviet Union. So they were very controlled, had that communist approach. And the destruction of the wall, actually, it came 2 years after Reagan made a famous speech in Berlin where he publicly challenged Premier Gorbachev. One quote specifically, the most famous one, is, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," among other things he said. And then here's an actual picture from when they were beginning to tear down the wall. I was going to post another one that was I found where it actually was a picture of Reagan with his wife Nancy at the wall, and he's got like a pick and a chisel, and he's sitting there taking off a piece of the wall. So any questions so far? I know we're moving really fast. Yeah.
I forget, was Berlin divided up after World War II?
Yeah.
And so the Soviet Union and the other powers were just like, we're going to divide it up this way?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. And then I think we mentioned it another day too, is the one side that wasn't controlled by the Soviet Union, I can't remember which one was West and East. I want to say the East was the Soviet Union side. The other side, yeah, the West, got to be added to NATO, and they were allowed to remilitarize, while the other side was not. And I think that was something mentioned yesterday or the day before, I believe. But yeah, that was after World War II. So now we get to the full-fledged end of the Cold War. So after decades of money spent funding competition with the United States, as well as the development of weapons such as nuclear weapons, nukes, the Soviet Union was greatly struggling politically, economically, pretty much in every way they were struggling. Numerous nations that were kind of under their control in their area began to kind of declare themselves as independent and hold their own elections in 1989, and some of these nations were Poland, Hungary, and Bulgaria. There's a big long list of them, that's just a few. There was, in Yugoslavia, the provinces of Croatia and Slovenia, they declared their independence. And then the entire country kind of ended up splitting into numerous independent countries, like 4 or 5 of them, I think, 5 or 6. Not included on this slide, I also read one of these countries, they like overthrew it's like their king and queen, or their 2 leaders, and they were publicly executed on live television. Yeah, and then because of all these, the Soviet Union was kind of crumbling in on itself, all these countries were declaring their independence from them. In August 1991, the Russian military leaders, they took Gorbachev and they placed him under house arrest, and they kind of took over control of the nation, kind of in a coup. And they decided they were going to run the country to try to save it at the last minute. You know, it was already a sinking ship, what can you do? And the army did not support this, and they ended up backing down. And then to cap it all off, in December 1991, Russia, Belarus, and the Ukraine all completely dissolved the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union was no more. I'm not sure if we'll slide after that. Wow, I really flew through that. Okay. Any questions for any of this? Like I said, I went through it really fast. Nope. Okay. Do you have any questions, Kylie?
No.
All right. So, guess now, hopefully we take longer than this than what I expected. Wow, yeah, that took like 10 minutes. Okay. So, go ahead and gather out all of your notes. We'll do it independent instead of doing it in groups because there's so few of us. Because I'll let you guys use your notes during it.
Y'all are ready for this?
I know they're on my computer.
You have the unfair advantage.
Me?
No, Paige.
Me? Why? Listen, just because I'm a history major doesn't mean I'm an expert. My notes are everywhere. I'm gonna try to not use my notes, because my notes are on my computer.
Yeah, that evens the playing field.
But if I start not knowing, I'll pull my notes out.
I figured I'd let you use the notes because it only gives you like 10 seconds per question. And I think that's really not that much time, so I give you at least that advantage.
If only my notes were in any sort of order.
That's honestly my issue right now. Yeah, no, they're all in some type of weird.
I think they're here. I don't really know. Actually, I probably have software. This is so bad. I've been using the same notebook for the past like 5 different classes.
Does anybody know how you can get it to sign corner out and let me sign in? I have no idea.
Oh, I'm sure there's a way.
The email, the ISU email.
I just did it.
Yeah, I did that, and then when I went back to the email, it logged you right back in again.
That's not good.
What do I do? Like, is there something different I need to do from here?
You might have to completely like sign out, like completely like sign out of the computer.
Okay, how do I go about doing that?
There, and then
The little person, so go up to Connor Goodwin. Oh no,
Oh, where I was at?
yeah.
go up, money.
And
Just
then,
sign out and let me, oh, I guess there was switch user, I guess it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we know a lot about technology.
You guys
No.
know all that, don't you?
I
She
just,
said no.
I don't know, not really.
Yeah, my notes are in no order.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I was trying to organize them. So I'm just leaving that. I don't know where my day one
I
notes.
guess while that is doing that, I will pick a number between 1 and, yeah, I'll pick a number between 1 and 100, and then everybody think of a number, and then whoever's closest, that's where I'll start, and then we'll just work around the room from there. Did you hear me, Kylie?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me think of my number. Okay. So, you want to go ahead and we'll start with
17.
on, let me write down what you want to say. Okay. Whoever else, Connor, you want?
You look like a 67 type of guy to me.
I'm not sure what that means, but I'll take that as a compliment.
43.
I don't know why, I just got like a very big urge to say
You crack
67.
me up, Connor.
And your guess, Kylie?
Oh my god, please
25.
no. I don't know what's happening.
I don't, Renee,
So my
I
number
don't know.
was 78, so Connor was the.
What'd I say? He looks like a 67 type of guy.
Guess it was true.
No,
So
that's
you'll be number 1, 2, 3, and then Kylie, you'll be number 4.
Oh
And that's
god,
the
this
order we
entire
follow.
page isn't filled out.
Renee, bro. Just accept it at this point.
Should I just give up at this point?
Yeah, I
Oh
just,
shoot, they both say day 2. Please ignore me, I am a mess.
Does it normally take this long to come on?
No. Actually, I have no idea.
Yeah?
no, every time I sign it doesn't.
I guess I could do it through the computer and do the screen share. Guess we got to put it on there. So then, do any of you guys know what I need to plug in to make this show on there? To make my laptop?
I think,
Assuming one of these things?
Yeah.
do you have an HDMI port on your computer?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I would do HDMI.
This is the blue thing.
I don't know why I think this.
Then what do I like change that into? Laptop HDMI. There's Kylie, everybody.
Hi, Kylie.
Hey, baby.
You're on the big screen.
Hey, I love that.
Do this.
What?
Renee, are you still trying to organize your notes?
We gave up on that. It's a mess. Do you organize your notes?
Renee, babe, I know. You know by now that we're both messes.
Yeah, you're right.
We're always put up in our groups together, which I'm not mad about. So I was telling Hannah, I was like, Hannah, I feel like it's always either me or you or me or Renee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm not mad about. You can be mad about
Okay,
it.
now I need to. How do I do the screen share?
I hate myself. It's not even no.
What button do I click to do
I'm
the
so
screen share?
excited.
On the
On Zoom?
Yeah.
It's in the middle.
Renee, yeah, the text screen.
Oh.
Here's the
Yeah, I got
screen.
Let's go, Renee. You're IT.
Which is, yeah.
Half the number.
Yep.
And then we'll just X. Or that will
No,
oh,
share,
share.
share, yep.
Hoping that's the right thing.
There, and it should work now. I hope.
Are you
Oh.
seeing, yeah, okay.
I did a summer of freshman orientations all over Zoom.
Kylie, on your screen, you're just
I
seeing
know.
the screen that says Jeopardy, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Oh
Alright.
my god, Connor.
Does everybody have their stuff and we're ready to go? No throwing stuff in the classroom, guys.
Yeah, Connor.
Renee, I didn't do anything. You threw it at me.
You hit me with a paper ball and it really
I didn't
hurt.
see it.
Alright, come on, let's focus in on the thing. Some of these questions may appear on your post-test that I've yet to make. Okay, so,
Oh, it's so pretty.
sound should be good. Alright, so here we go. Jeopardy! Wish I could sit.
Sit down. Take a load off.
You literally had surgery.
Alright, so here are today's categories. Oh god, what'd I do?
No, you're good. I think the
I'm
cards.
just gonna leave it, I'm just gonna leave it. I'll figure it out.
There we go.
Okay. So here are today's categories. I think it'll let me play the theme.
Oh, I was about to say, you play the music. I'll
Origins
start
of the cold. I'm gonna try that. Wow. Oh, that's part of the computer, isn't it?
We're so chaotic.
Alright, origins of the Cold War. space race and the arms race, the Red Scare, Cold War in the world, and Vietnam, and the end of the Cold War. Are we ready to go?
Yes.
Wow, this
All
is
right.
so cool.
Like I said, this was kind of a pain to make, so I really want to do it.
I love it.
All right, Connor, we're starting with you.
Space and entrees for 100, please.
I do want to. So I guess you guys want to keep points, like actual track of points, or?
Yeah, because I have to beat Connor.
Okay,
Because I have to beat all of
does
them.
one of you guys want to volunteer as the scorekeeper?
I'll do it.
Maybe I wanted to do
Do
it.
you want to do it, Renee?
We can do it together.
Do rock, paper, scissors.
No, can we do it together?
Yeah.
Well, that works, that's fine. As long as we
Teamwork.
don't work separate. So what do you guys think we should do as the point value for each question?
You just want to do the money?
I have no
Yeah.
idea how Jeopardy works, so.
It's money.
Yeah.
So what is it? Oh, okay, that's dumb.
So
Never
like
mind,
if I
never
have a
mind.
question right, 100.
Never mind, I'm dumb.
I'm just gonna put 3%.
Okay.
Do you have a better
We
idea?
both don't need to do it.
No, but see. Renee, what are you trying to do? Oh, you're not gonna go on that? Okay.
Come on, guys.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't want to be one of you guys.
Alright, so you said which one?
Space and entrees for 100,
Did
please.
I say that there? I should.
Alright, space and arms race for 100.
Was that the distraction?
We've done a lot today, I'm not gonna lie to you. So not
It's
Friday.
like Friday, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so the mass buildup of weapons, as well as the creation of new weapons, was called.
Why are you raising your hand?
Oh wait, do I automatically get to answer it?
Yeah, because it's your
Oh,
turn.
arms race. What is arms race?
Now let the timer run out. We'll let the
I don't know, I've
timer-
never done Jeopardy like this.
This is so.
Alright, what was your answer?
What is arms race?
And the answer is.
Watch, it's not right.
Oh, you got,
Good job.
Connor has a negative 100.
Renee,
No.
Renee, you come out of reckless fella.
She
He
did.
tried to hit me with a yardstick
I did
while he
not.
was teaching.
Not
Did you?
my teaching, not my teaching.
not during your teaching, okay.
Not my class.
When he was
I didn't
teaching.
try to hit her, I was like,
He
don't
was
make
literally
me.
teaching.
It's my turn.
Come
Alright.
after me with a
Alright, well
yardstick.
focus in, guys. Okay.
Come here.
It's Peter's turn. Back to home. Okay, there we go.
Make me come around. How about the other?
What do you think?
Origins of the Cold War 100.
Origins of the Cold War 100.
Well, I get this wrong.
What was the USSR?
Oh, what did it stand for?
Oh, what is it? Wait.
United Soviet Socialist
Oh, he's playing the
Republic.
music and everything.
Yeah, I got the whole thing.
Daniel.
Alright, repeat that.
United Soviet Socialist Republic. That's wrong.
Close.
United
You know.
Socialist Soviet Republic.
Close. I'll give you one more guess, and then there's.
Okay,
Renee will have a chance
they
to
have
steal.
their notes. That's
Well, you have your notes, don't you?
You're a history major.
know. Listen, but we don't talk.
This-
So
you
it's
get-
not either what I said.
No, you're in the ballpark. You're in the ballpark.
I don't know.
Alright, Renee, you get the chance to steal.
What is the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic?
No.
And
Why did
the
I say
answer
United?
is
United.
Wait, so there's.
Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
What?
Maybe you can get them to share their notes with you.
Mine are just on my computer.
You're allowed to use your computer as long as you're not looking up answers on like Google.
I know. Are we doing the
I
one
will
where we
get
lose
negative
points?
100.
Yeah, we get it wrong.
No, I'm not doing those points.
Listen, people. Do I need to come up there and keep my own score?
Well, if we were playing real Jeopardy, you would be in the negative. Have you not watched Jeopardy?
We're doing fun Jeopardy.
Yeah. Don't
There's no
be mean.
losers here. We're just all participants.
No, there is. And
Right.
What?
nothing.
Alright. So then I think what you got that right. So Renee, you get to go again.
Let's do origins of the Cold War for 200.
Alright. So, what were the two reasons that the U.S. was not trustful of the Soviet Union?
I hope your notes aren't organized.
Okay.
Ah,
This is crap.
it is.
What is your answer?
What is U.S. forces were unsure of Soviet communism, and also why? This is so hard to say as a question.
Oh, I love it too.
What is
You don't have to try and present it.
okay?
What is it?
And
Yeah,
then
you do.
the Soviets were upset with the U.S. because we waited so long to join World War II, which resulted in millions more Soviet deaths. So,
Which, is that even true? Question mark.
What is the Soviet deaths? They do lose a lot in the Civil War, but whether you could blame on the U.S. is debatable.
Yeah.
So I actually had is the fear of communism, which you had in the rule of Joseph Stalin, but the other one is correct. I just didn't include it. So
No, she doesn't get it. Kidding.
you get the points for that. You get the points. 'Cause like I said, your answer is true as well. I just didn't write that one.
because I had heard that elsewhere before as well. That,
Alright.
Sure.
What?
Sure.
In my history through Disney class.
So
we were
this
talking
way,
about the
to
Cold
try to
War.
get it so that everybody gets a chance to participate, I won't do the winning streaks. So like even if she got that right, we won't do another one with her. That way we can move, everybody gets to play. The only way we'll do, if you get to do 2 in a row is if you win like a steal. We'll do it that way. Especially since I've already kind of committed to that. So then Kylie, you are next. So what do you choose?
Okay, let's do Vietnam for 100.
Vietnam for 100. All right, everybody pay attention because the person in line, which is Connor, will get the chance to steal. So Vietnam had been a colony for which country? All right, what is your answer?
France.
All right.
She's
Kylie.
She loves U.S. history.
Oh,
Thanks, Connor.
the answer is France.
I love how I have 0.
Just to be clear, you can't see the screen I'm seeing correct right now, right, where it shows the next slide?
I'm still seeing what is France.
Okay.
That was
Well, because on my
one.
screen, I'm allowed to see the next slide, which is the answer, and it didn't occur to you that you may be able to see that.
No, yeah, no, I can't.
Okay. So, Connor.
We're going big today. Arms race for 500.
Where's that? Oh, I wonder who maybe. Okay. Who would become the first American man in space? Some of these questions may not, like the point value may be kind of screwed up. I made it way less.
Neil. Wait. Neil Armstrong.
I was about to be.
Oh, I didn't hit the timer, but we'll call that. All right, what is your...
What is Neil Armstrong? Who is Neil Armstrong? American man? Neil Armstrong.
What is your final answer?
Who is Neil Armstrong?
Wrong.
Is it really? Oh, he was the first one on the moon.
Wow, okay, it just has the question.
He was the first one on the moon.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's who I was gonna say.
okay, I have to do the timer, I see. Okay. Correct answer is Louis
Damn.
Allen
Oh,
Shepard.
shit.
Wow, I wouldn't have done that.
I don't know.
Language.
I
Sorry.
don't remember.
Language. Can't use inappropriate language in our classroom.
He's such a good teacher.
No, we're not losing points.
Yeah, not losing points. You keep what you got.
Yeah.
Now it's me.
Yep.
You know, might as well. Vietnam 400.
Vietnam for 400. What was the capital city of North Vietnam?
What is Saigon? Saigon. That's probably wrong.
So what is your final answer?
Saigon.
Correct answer is what is Hanoi?
What
Or
was
Hanoi?
Saigon?
South Vietnam.
Dang
I hope that's not a
It's okay,
question
Paige.
later. I
It
hope
all
I didn't
gets
include
us.
that. If not, someone's gonna get that now.
No.
All right.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pay attention.
Let's do Vietnam for 200.
Vietnam for 200. This
Oh,
general led the U.S. combat troops in Vietnam.
Oh dang, I like remember hearing like you talk.
What is your final answer?
I have no idea.
All right, Kylie, you're committing to you have no
Yes.
answer. Okay,
Yeah,
Kylie,
no
you
answer.
answer steel.
I have no idea.
All right, so you commit to no idea. All right. Okay. Connor, you get the chance to steal.
Connor's about to find us.
I'm gonna give you just the timer again.
Maybe if your notes were organized.
5,
Ah.
3, 2, 1.
Who is JFK?
No, that is the president.
I know, but an
Well-
answer is better than no answer.
So the correct answer.
Wait, do I get a steal?
Oh.
I don't know though.
Well,
He can, I don't know. He committed to that.